Okay, so today's topic is forgiveness. Who do you need to forgive in order to live your life most aligned with what you actually know is best for you? So for most of us, that starts off at ourselves, the self level. I need to forgive myself for all of these, things that I did that were horrible, or I feel guilty for, I feel shame around. Difference between guilt and shame is you believe you are bad if you have shame. You believe you did something bad if you're guilty, you feel guilty. So let's stop the guilt in its tracks before it turns into shame and forgive ourselves for the acts that we've done that we didn't know any better at the time, and now we know, so now we can do better. So then when we can forgive ourselves, maybe make a list, I don't know. What do you need to do in order to have that forgiveness live in you, right? Have this be a daily practice. So it's not just, I have a realization of the things that I need to forgive myself for, but I take an action to self-actualize. So whether this is I charred the string beans with the spicy whatever, and so it's like spicy smoke in my house. So what do you need to do so that the forgiveness is something that you're reminding yourself of every day? Like, is it just a mantra? Like, I forgive myself for not knowing that I was an addict. The truth is, this is what my coach Beverly Sartain does. The truth is, I had no way of knowing. I had no way of knowing until now. Now I know. So now I can do differently. So does mantra work for you? Does journaling work for you? Two-way prayer, asking God for messages, or whatever your definition of God is. Does chanting work for you? Does going out in nature and just being open to the love that abounds in the natural world work for you? Do you need to make signs, and put them up in your house? Like, I have all these little, all these little reminders that I have. So great things never came from comfort zones. Remember, difficult does not mean impossible, right? I just got a bunch of these because I love this shit. I love little reminders, So do you need to make some of are you an artist? Do you need to make some of this art for yourself? Or are you, do you like to draw or like paint or dance it out? Do you want to do an interpretive dance around it? Like the post that I made. Actually, I don't think I even posted it. Ridiculous. These things that we don't need to think of in our lives. You need to have a physical way of embodying the energy of forgiveness. A really good one is just heart opening, and you can do it, at your desk. If you sit at a desk all day, you can do it in your chair. You can do it with a yoga block behind your heart and just open your arms to let all of the tension, because that's what happens when we harbor or hold on to not forgiving ourselves. Then our heart gets, literally the muscles around it tighten, and then they calcify, and then we form scar tissue. And that's what a hardened heart, a cold heart is towards ourselves. And then we get bitter, then we get resentful that everybody else did this hurt to us, and it just compounds. So let's stop it in its tracks early when it's just a little bit of guilt and say, I forgive you, Beth. I forgive you, self, for doing this. You didn't know any better at the time. So now the truth is I can move forward differently. I can choose better for myself. So for me, forgiveness happened in my life over and over, kind of like a boomerang with my narcissistic abuser. And for a very long time, actually, until I knew what a narcissist was, I didn't honestly know until I came into that awareness through a beautiful therapist friend. I didn't know that it was okay for me to walk away from that. So I was just going like forgiving and then going back and then forgiving and then going back and then not forgiving and being resentful and being angry and then, you know, coming out of it and saying fuck you and da-da-da. So until I finally realized, oh, this pattern is never going to change. This person is not going to be any different. And I keep going back to definition of insanity, thinking things are going to be different when that's just how they operate. And I can forgive them for what has happened, but when they keep doing it again, you know, it's like, I forgive you and then you do it again. So like, well then now I can't forgive you anymore. But that's then on me to then say, well, I'm going to actually remove myself from the situation so you can't do that again. So there's nothing really to forgive anymore. So I can now, from a place of time, of course, I can look back on that and forgive them for what they did then. And now they didn't do anything because I didn't allow them into my life. I didn't allow them to re-engage because I didn't re-engage. So this is what creates boundaries for us. And it's not easy. It's really, really hard, but you're worth it. You're worth forgiving yourself first and separating from, you know, it's not about forgiving, getting forgiveness, seeking forgiveness, you know, apologizing. It's about, I need to forgive me for all that I know that I've done wrong, to clear the slate so that I don't re-injure myself again in the future. And then I start branching out. So this is why this 12 steps recovery works so beautifully, because it's not an accident why you have to take each step in order. So you can't get to a place where you can forgive or make an amends to someone if you don't have the support of what you define as your higher power, accepting that you are powerless over this thing, right? Guilt might be your addiction. You might be addicted to just beating the fuck out of yourself because you think, I deserve this. This is the treatment that I deserve because this is what I've always gotten, and I've just become conditioned to believing that this bullshit scenario is how my life needs to go. It's not. That's not how your life needs to go. Not at all. So what 1% next step are you going to take today? Right? And this is the beauty of coaching. So please, like, coach with me if this is interesting to you, that you want to work on this. Because just seeing, you know, a one-way thing, like you're receiving this message and then you go, oh yeah, I need to think about that. When are you going to think about that? Honestly, you're going to flip to the next reel. When are you going to think about it? You're not going to think about it. You're thinking about it now. And then, but you need to do the step. The next step, you need to take the step to put it into action. And that's where a coach comes in. That's where I say, okay, how are you going to hold yourself accountable? When are you going to do that? How many times this next week are you going to do that? And then I'm going to check in with you. What should I ask you to see if you did? What are the blocks standing in your way from actually doing that thing? How can we dissolve those blocks? Who or what can support you? What's your higher power situation? You asking them for any help? You know, they're there for you. Nobody else. They're there for you. So these are the types of things I really focus on, your spiritual connection and how that's going to help you exponentially. And as a final note, I am celebrating my 6 months off my bottom lines, so sobriety from my addiction, and it feels fantastic. And so I wanted to start this day on this foot of just sharing with you about what I really do, because I talk a lot about my yoga classes and the astrology of the day, but really my wheelhouse is your connection to your spirit, your source of self-love, and your holding yourself accountable. How does it actually work for you? It's not a mean thing, right? It's not like, oh, you better do this. It's not coaching in that sense, like a sports coach where they're gonna be like, you gotta do 20 push-ups and you gotta eat this, and this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you have to be in the gym. No, I don't boss you around and never tell you what to do and don't suggest. I'm just suggesting this because this is not a coaching call. This is a fucking video, right? I wouldn't suggest things to you unless you're a child. You know, I do this with my work in behavioral health with children, but with an adult, I'm going to ask you, how do you set yourself up for success? What works for you to hold yourself accountable? What's worked in the past? You've made millions of amazing decisions and choices, and you've grown and used your skills and resources. You have a bountiful, toolbox. Let's put them to work for you. So, what is that thing? And how will you hold yourself accountable to forgive yourself? 1% more today, and make it sustainable. What does sustainability look like for you? Is that every day? Or is it just like this week, I'm going to love myself so much that I'm going to practice self-forgiveness one time? Ain't no judgment here, right? Practice self-forgiveness one time. Amazing. Do it. Off to the races. Let's go. It's not up to me. I don't set the rule. I don't say you have to do this every single day. That doesn't work for you, Tuesdays, you can't even breathe. You have all shit going on, But what works for you is maybe Wednesdays. You got a little smidgen of time. Sipping your coffee, you could forgive yourself. I don't know. I don't know your life. You know your life. That's why you are the best. You are the guru of you. You know what you need. And I'm just helping to evoke the awareness to bring that out of you so that you realize yourself. You remember, smarana, self-remembrance. Oh yeah, I'm really good at this. Let me just stick it in here where I'm already doing this thing. I have clients who are like, oh, I always use my phone. I'll just put this thing in my phone and then it'll be like a no-brainer. It'll just happen. Or like, for me personally, how can I take my vitamins? Well, I'm just going to stick them next to the sink. And in the morning when I drink my glass of salt water, I'm going to put them where I see them. It might not be pretty on my sink top, but it's what I need every day. And it works. It's worked. Oh my God. It works. So those things for you. And that's what me as your coach will help to draw out of you, right? Not a video, because I'm not right now, right here, when you get off this video, you're not going to go do the thing. But if you call me, if you schedule a call and talk about, what you want to get out of coaching, then from the time that we meet as a coaching container, I will ask for your answer to that question. And I will sit with you in that space of unknowingness. And I'm not going to move on to another question. Unless you say, well, I'd rather answer this right now. Fine. It's client-led. You lead the way. I'm just here as a compassionate witness to your infinite wisdom, seeing the little magic pieces that you give off, connecting it to your higher power, your guides, your ancestors, your angels. They're all like, look at this fascinating, amazing being in front of me. Look at all their magnificence. Tell them about it. And I'm like, all right. Okay. Then they'll be like, and what about their moon? Their moon's in this thing that's happening. And I'm like, all right, what do you think about this? Are you open to hearing, what's coming through for me, what I'm channeling? I am a channel. We all are. I've just realized mine and I put it into practice. I take action on it. So become your own divine channel. Listen to the voice, the first thing that pops up. How should I do that? Boom, this will work. Great, do it, take action. But actually do it, okay? I'm putting my link to my 15-minute chat. You'll see it on my website, breathewithbeth.com, on the coaching, self-love coaching page. It's at the very bottom. So you can see all my packages, and then at the very bottom, scroll all the way down, and you'll see, not sure yet? Book a 15-minute call. And you can chat with me. What's going on? I want to hear from you. So yeah, I I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Mwah.